Morning, bird brains. Out on the Dyna today doing a first impressions ride for this lovely Memphis Shades Road Warrior fairing. And I'm going to go this way because that light's going to be forever. So as I just mentioned, this is the Road Warrior fairing by Memphis Shades. It is with the 15-inch dark smoke vented edition. So it's got the two vents right there. I actually got the vented edition because I was going to have a shipping delay with the other one, and it would have caused me to miss my upload schedule, which if you're a regular of the channel, you know that's not going to happen. So as I'm getting my first few miles in, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the install. Now, I did do a how-to install video as well as a build series video for the fairing. I'll put a link to those down in the description. The install was extremely easy. Like I mentioned in the video, it took me about an hour, but most of that was due to filming and stuff. I feel like without any of the filming or anything, 30 to 45 minutes tops. There was a page of directions in the packaging once I opened it, but even with that, it was more of a universal type instructions, and it still wasn't 100%, but even without it, I mean, it's so stupid easy. It's like 4 fork brackets and then 4 bolts to the actual fairing. If you can't figure that out, then, I mean, you shouldn't be riding. If I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the hardest, 1 being the easiest, I would put it at like a 3 or a 4, 3.5. The only difficult part was really getting the bolts threaded, just because I think it was partly due to my vinyl wrap on my forks. I feel like if it wasn't for that extra little thickness on there, that those bolts would have threaded a little bit easier. Also, the vinyl wrap caused some difficulty in actually moving and adjusting them once they were on. So that's something that most people won't experience. Other than that, man, it was, like I said, stupid easy. Just a little bit of patience needed to get it perfect if you're a perfectionist like I am. But overall, very easy install. What's the other thing I could talk about? Packaging was pretty good. The trigger lock mount system and the headlight extension block came in like that shrink wrap, like plastic stuff, which was kind of a pain in the ass, but I mean, it keeps them from getting scratched, and it's cheap for them, so it means it's cheap for us. The fairing just came in a box with like bubble wrap and stuff like that, but I feel like when you're appealing to a market like bikers, that packaging really isn't that big of a deal. So outside of installation, of course, everyone cares about what it looks like. I'll go ahead and throw a couple shots of what it looks like on the bike now. Now, of course, this bike is in stock. It does have the Lucky Dave's 14-inch San Diego bar. It's got the Amazon Daymaker knockoff headlight. So it's not going to be 100% stock, but you can at least get the idea. I absolutely love the look of it, and I think a lot of other people do. I think that's why it's become so popular. I had a couple people ask me, why did you go with this fairing as opposed to, I don't know, like a Gauntlet fairing or a Conley's fairing? And my answer was simply, when you compare price, quality, and appearance, I feel like the Road Warrior takes the cake as an overall package. Granted, no, it's not the cheapest fairing out there. It's one of the cheapest, but it's not the cheapest. I don't personally think it's the best looking, and it probably isn't the best made. But as an overall bang for your buck, I think the Road Warrior fairing definitely takes it. Pricing wise, I'll go ahead and throw the pricing up right here. This is MSRP. But of course, that's going to vary from where you order it and taxes and all that fun stuff. But relatively affordable. Also, the fairing itself and the windshield come as 2 separate parts. So if you don't want a big windshield like this, if you want it a couple inches down, they've got that option. They've got everything from, I believe, 7, which is pretty much even with the fairing, all the way to 17, which would be 2 inches higher here. It also comes in 3 different shade options. I know after, I believe, 14, it narrows it down to 2. Currently, they might be, by the time this come out, they might be offering more. But as the time of recording this, I believe they're only doing 2 options. And then, of course, it comes in the solid and the vented options as well. I was under the impression that these vents were closable. I have come to since find out that they are not. But one of the reasons that you would want to close your vents is if 1, you ride in the rain a lot, or 2, you ride in the cold a lot. Neither of which I personally do. So I'm not upset by that at all. So of course the next thing everyone talks about is performance. How well does it block the air? Where does it put the air compared to other fairings or nothing? Now personally, I have never used any other fairings on the Dyna Street Bob. I have, however, rode other bikes like baggers, like street glides, road glides, things like that do have the fairings. So let's just do a quick test here. I'm going to go about 45, which is your normal kind of country road speeds. So without a fairing, I felt a lot of the air pretty much all the way from down here, pretty much to my no-no parts, all the way up past my helmet. And that got pretty tiring after a while, especially when you're doing 200, 300 mile rides. And also I like to ride in like a long sleeve, so whipping back and forth really sucks after a while. But right now at 45, I definitely feel a difference. I wouldn't say it blocks the wind anywhere close to like a road glide or a street glide fairing. I'm following the air pass, and a lot of the wind is coming off the tank right here. So I'm assuming it's the stuff getting sucked up under here and kind of going up to right here. So I don't feel it in my no-no parts as much as I used to. I start feeling the wind right about my belly button up until about halfway through my chest, and then it kind of cuts off. That kind of worries me personally as a motovlogger. It probably doesn't affect you as much, probably even better for you if you're getting wind up inside your helmet. For me, it's a little worrisome. I'm afraid I'm going to get a lot of wind in my audio. We'll find out when we get home. So other than those two spots, I really don't feel any air on top of my head at these speeds. So I'm trying to follow the air. It does hit me right about the top of the visor. Now keep in mind, I am 6'2". A lot of my height is also in my torso, so I'm probably sitting a lot higher than most of you. I also have the Saddleman step-up seat, which does raise your seating position a little bit, so keep that in mind. Someone that's probably even as short as like 6 foot on a stock seat, or even 5'8" on his 2-up, it would probably be going straight over your head. Now I will be doing a 70 mile an hour highway run on the way back home, but for now I want to talk about some other performance issues or performance stats. So one thing I was worried about on this is the weight that it would add to the front. And honestly, even whipping it back and forth, picking the bike up off of the kickstand, you can't even tell it's there. I mean, it's really a very minimal amount of weight. I'm sure they've got the weight listed somewhere on the website. If I can find it, I'll go ahead and throw it up here. This is a combined weight, or the combined weight that I could find. Not a lot of change as far as weight. I was also worried that it was going to add a lot of a shake to the bars or affect how the bars handled, but this might just be the placebo effect of me trying to pay a lot of attention to it. But I would honestly say that it keeps the bars straighter, which would make sense scientifically because it is aerodynamic and kind of, contoured on the inside, so it should keep the bars somewhat straighter. But like I said, that could just be me overthinking it. There's definitely no negative effects because I'm really hunting and searching for negative effects, and I'm not feeling those. I'm not feeling that feedback at all. The next thing I was worried about was the vibration of the actual windshield and the fairing. At speed, it's not there. I did notice though when it was idling on the kickstand that it was shaking, but I don't think it shakes any more than just the regular forks and bars do. I don't think it causes the forks and bars to shake any more than they already do, I should say. What kind of bike is that? Oh, wide glide. It's got the 103 in it, forward controls. I think they all come with forward controls. 2012 Dyna Wide Glide, 4,686 miles, stage 1, dyno tune, 10.9. It's got the speaker system in it. A little pricey for my taste. But if you guys want it, 210-724-5365. Tell them Biker Bird sent you and you won't have any idea what you're talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to future Biker Bird so he can take you guys on the highway and let you know how it handles out there. Thanks, Fast Biker Bird. I'm on the highway now, going about 75 miles an hour. I will say that the aerodynamics of the bike has definitely changed. Bike life! Alright, whatever. I definitely don't feel it in my chest as much as I did at 45. That has definitely gone out and around my body now at these higher speeds. One negative though is that the wind that is hitting right above my visor, it is pretty intense at this point, at this speed, and it is causing a bit of wind buffeting. My helmet is vibrating quite noticeably. But once again, I am a tall bastard. It is all my torso, so I don't think a lot of people would be having the same issue I am. Also, I do have the availability to go 2 inches taller on the windshield if I would like, and that might be something I look into. Back to you, past Biker Bird. Thanks, future Biker Bird. So, guys, in conclusion, pros and cons list. Pros, it's affordable, it's easy to install, it looks badass, it's quality made. Cons, it doesn't block the wind as much as I would have hoped. Once again, that's going to depend on how tall you are, what size windshield you get, what bike you put it on. But for me, I think it could be better. And that's pretty much it for the cons. That's all I got. The weight is great, so that's a pro. It doesn't add any sort of shake or anything in the bars, so that's a pro. Overall, a great buy, guys. Wait, one other con I guess I could throw out there is a lot of people have it, so if you're the type of person that doesn't want the same thing as anybody else, definitely not the right option for you. Also, a lot of stupid, uneducated assholes are gonna throw out the Jax Teller Sons of Anarchy joke because apparently Sons of Anarchy created the club style. So if you have a club style bike that you're totally ripping off Sons of Anarchy. There definitely wasn't club style bikes before that, and that's what the show was modeled after. Now that makes no sense. So if you got thin skin and can't take those jokes every single time you post a picture, then you might want to stray away from fairings and Dynas altogether. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. If you have any questions about this fairing or the install or anything about that whatsoever, go ahead and leave them down in the comments. I will answer them as soon as I possibly can. If you like this video, I hope you go ahead and hit that like button. It does do a ton for the channel. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, I highly suggest you do so. I put out 3 videos a week, every single week. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.